Have you ever wondered why your kidneys seem to struggle even when you don't feel sick, don't feel pain, and don't think you're doing anything wrong? If so, you're not alone. Millions of Americans wake up every day believing their kidneys are perfectly fine, while something silent, something hidden is chipping away at them piece by piece. And the most frightening part is that your body won't warn you. There is no burning, no stabbing, no flashing signal. Kidney damage begins quietly, like a fuse burning under the floorboards, and by the time the smoke rises, it is often far too late. I'm Dr. Richard Hale, and today I need to tell you something most doctors never say out loud. Your kidneys are being attacked not by the obvious things, not just by sugar or diabetes or high blood pressure. They are being worn down by foods so common, so normal, so harmless looking that you probably had one of them this week, maybe even this morning. And it's this false sense of safety, this illusion that healthy equals harmless, that puts so many Americans in danger without even realizing it. But here's the part you absolutely need to hear. Your kidneys are not weak. They're not doomed. They're not past saving. When you understand exactly which foods are burning, clogging, and scarring these filters and why they do it, you gain back control. And once you remove the hidden triggers and give your kidneys the environment they need to repair, the body responds astonishingly fast. So stay with me, because what I'm about to show you isn't guesswork and it isn't fear-mongering. It's the truth most people never hear until damage has already been done. And the moment you understand it, everything changes. Let's start our countdown with number 10, high-sodium processed foods, the quiet trigger behind rising blood pressure, swelling, and kidney strain in millions of Americans. Most people believe salt is the villain, but salt by itself isn't the problem. The real danger comes from sodium that arrives without potassium to balance it. And that's exactly what happens in canned soups, frozen dinners, packaged snacks, and fast food meals. These products deliver massive sodium loads that force your kidneys to hold onto fluid, raise your blood pressure, and push blood through the tiny filtration vessels with more force than they can safely handle. I once worked with a man named Leonard from Ohio, 65 years old, who thought he was choosing quick but healthy meals. He avoided sugar, avoided alcohol, and didn't eat big portions. Yet every month his blood pressure crept higher and his GFR dipped lower. When we reviewed his diet, the truth was obvious. He was relying on high-sodium microwave meals and canned soups, foods that looked harmless but contained 2 to 3 times more sodium than a homemade meal. Science shows that excess sodium, without potassium, increases kidney workload, stiffens blood vessels, and creates microscopic tears in the filtration units. Over time, these tiny injuries add up, quietly lowering kidney function without any pain or warning. The solution isn't giving up salt entirely. It's about pairing sodium with potassium, fresh vegetables, avocado, leafy greens, or even a balanced electrolyte mix. When sodium and potassium work together, the kidneys breathe easier and blood pressure stabilizes. But only knowing this still isn't enough, because what comes next is even more deceptive and far more damaging to your kidneys than most people ever realize. Moving down to number 9, we arrive at a kidney threat hiding inside a habit millions of Americans consider harmless: coffee creamers. These products were designed to look comforting, taste indulgent, and blend smoothly into your morning routine, but what they contain is far from gentle on your kidneys. Most creamers have no real cream at all. Instead, they're built from artificial flavors, emulsifiers, synthetic fats, and titanium dioxide ingredients that your kidneys must filter and defend against every single day. I once treated a woman named Judith from California, 63 years old, who loved starting her morning with a flavored creamer she'd been using for years. She didn't drink alcohol, rarely touched sweets, and stayed active, yet her kidney markers were slipping year after year. When we examined her habits, the culprit was clear. Studies show that titanium dioxide can disrupt kidney cell membranes, while emulsifiers weaken the structural tight junctions that hold kidney tissues together. Over time, these changes increase permeability, allowing proteins to leak and inflammation to rise long before symptoms appear. And because people use creamers daily, even small exposures add up like drops of water wearing down stone. The solution is refreshingly simple: switch to real dairy, unsweetened almond milk, coconut cream, or pure oat milk, anything without a long list of chemical additives. Many patients see measurable improvements within months of removing artificial creamers from their routine. But only knowing this still isn't enough because the next kidney threat doesn't come from something sweet or creamy. It comes from something far more ancient and far more damaging than most people ever imagine. Dropping down to number 8, we reach a kidney threat that feels almost invisible because millions of Americans enjoy it casually, socially, and without the slightest suspicion: alcohol. Most people associate alcohol with liver damage, but your kidneys pay an equally heavy price, one that becomes obvious only when it's almost too late. Alcohol pulls fluid from your tissues at a speed few other substances can match, leaving your kidneys dehydrated, overworked, and forced to filter toxins with far less water than they need. And when your body breaks it down, it produces uric acid, tiny razor-sharp crystals capable of scraping and inflaming the delicate tubules inside your kidneys. I remember a patient named Carol from Wisconsin, a gentle 70-year-old grandmother who enjoyed a nightly glass of wine. She didn't binge drink, didn't touch sugary desserts, and exercised daily. But her uric acid levels kept rising, and her kidney function was slipping month after month. When we reviewed her routine, the problem wasn't the wine alone, it was the dehydration combined with fructose-rich mixers she used on weekends. Research shows that alcohol paired with sugar multiplies uric acid production, dramatically increasing the risk of crystal buildup, inflammation, and kidney stones. And because symptoms are silent at first, many people don't realize anything is wrong until their GFR begins to decline. A simple shift, hydrating between drinks, avoiding sugary mixers, taking alcohol-free days, or switching to cleaner spirits can make a profound difference. Even small breaks allow your kidneys to clear uric acid more efficiently and begin repairing microscopic damage. But only knowing this still isn't enough because the next hidden threat seems healthy on the outside, yet can overwhelm the kidneys in ways most people never expect. Sliding into number 7, we come to a food category that looks wholesome, vibrant, and clean. Yet for many people, it becomes a direct pathway to kidney stress: green smoothies. For years, they've been marketed as the ultimate health ritual, something you drink to detox, energize, or replace a meal. But many of the most popular ingredients, spinach, beets, almonds, carry extremely high levels of oxalates. And oxalates aren't just harmless plant compounds. In sensitive individuals, they bind, harden, and form sharp crystals capable of irritating and scarring kidney tissue. I once worked with a patient named Lisa from North Carolina, a 58-year-old yoga instructor who prided herself on her clean eating. She blended spinach, almond milk, and beets every single morning. Yet she was constantly fatigued and developed flank discomfort that didn't make sense for her lifestyle. When we reviewed her labs, oxalate levels were elevated, and her urine showed early markers of kidney stress. Science explains why when oxalates meet dehydration, low calcium or magnesium, leaky gut, or a weakened microbiome, absorption skyrockets. Once oxalates enter the bloodstream, they combine with calcium and form crystals that the kidneys struggle to remove, leading to inflammation, oxidative stress, and an increased risk of kidney stones. The fix isn't abandoning smoothies forever, it's upgrading them. Rotate your greens, add calcium-rich yogurt or mineral supplements, lightly steam spinach before blending, hydrate properly, and diversify ingredients. These small changes help your kidneys stay protected while you still enjoy the benefits. But only knowing this still isn't enough because the next kidney enemy seems sugar-free and innocent, yet quietly damages the kidneys more than many people ever realize. Coming down to number 6, we reach a category that many people proudly switch to when trying to eat healthier artificial sweeteners. Diet sodas, sugar-free yogurts, zero-calorie energy drinks, flavored protein bars, all marketed as the smarter alternative to sugar. But inside these products are chemicals your kidneys were never meant to handle: aspartame, sucralose, and acesulfame K. They don't just sweeten, they disrupt. I once treated a patient named Melissa from Denver, a 59-year-old nurse who had replaced all sugary drinks with diet soda to protect her health. She never binged on desserts, stayed active, and thought she was making the right choice. Yet her kidney function was declining year after year. When we dug deeper, the picture became clearer. Aspartame breaks down into methanol and then formaldehyde, both toxic to kidney cells. Sucralose interferes with the kidney tubules, reducing filtration accuracy. And acesulfame K accumulates inside the kidneys, damaging mitochondria, the energy generators of each cell. Research shows these sweeteners create oxidative stress inflammation and impaired healing inside the nephron units, especially when consumed daily. But the solution is more accessible than most people think. Instead of artificial sweeteners, choose natural kidney-friendly alternatives, like stevia, monk fruit, raw honey in moderation, or simply reducing sweetened beverages overall. Many patients notice improved energy, clearer thinking, and better lab results within weeks of making the switch. But only knowing this still isn't enough, because the next kidney-damaging factor hides inside everyday proteins and convenience foods that almost every American consumes without hesitation. Dropping down to number 5, we reach a food group that often feels familiar, comforting and easy, but carries a chemical load your kidneys cannot keep fighting forever: processed meats. Bacon, deli slices, sausages, hot dogs, jerky, and packaged ready-to-eat proteins look harmless on the surface. But what hides inside them is far more troubling. These meats are pumped with nitrates, nitrites, phosphate preservatives, and advanced glycation compounds, ingredients that increase acidity, inflame the kidney tubules, and speed up the scarring of filtration membranes. I once worked with a man named Harold from Michigan, a 70-year-old veteran who loves simple meals. Breakfast bacon, a sandwich for lunch, and an easy microwavable dinner when he didn't feel like cooking. He didn't overeat, he didn't snack recklessly, but his kidneys were constantly inflamed and his creatinine crept higher every year. When we removed processed meats from his diet, his markers stabilized for the first time in a decade. Science backs this up. Research shows that processed meats increase oxidative stress and acid load, which weaken the nephron units responsible for filtering your blood. Over time, these chemical compounds harden the kidney tissue and reduce its ability to repair itself. The solution isn't giving up protein, it's choosing the right kind. Fresh chicken, grass-fed beef turkey, without additives, wild fish eggs, beans and lentils nourish the kidneys instead of attacking them. When the chemical additives disappear, the kidneys finally get room to recover. But only knowing this still isn't enough, because the next hitting kidney trigger is in fast foods, frozen meals, and convenience snacks Americans rely on every single day. Moving on to number 4, we reach one of the most underestimated kidney threats in the modern food industry: phosphate-laden foods. These additives are everywhere: frozen meals, processed cheese slices, packaged pastries, instant noodles, fast food sandwiches, flavored coffees, and even some so-called healthy snacks. They're used to improve texture, boost flavor, and extend shelf life. But to your kidneys, these added phosphates act like an uninvited flood your body has no natural defense for. I'll never forget a patient named Evelyn from Chicago, a 71-year-old who believed she was eating responsibly. Her fridge was stocked with low-fat frozen dinners, diet sodas, and convenience foods marketed as light. Yet her phosphorus levels kept rising, and early signs of kidney calcification began to appear. Here's why: natural phosphorus from whole foods is absorbed at only about 30 to 40%. But inorganic phosphate additives, they're absorbed at up to 90%. That's more than double the load, and the kidneys must absorb, filter, and eliminate it all. Over time, these excess phosphates settle into soft tissues, stiffen blood vessels, and trigger a condition called renal osteodystrophy, the hardening and scarring of kidney tissue from the inside out. The fix is straightforward: choose whole foods over processed ones, swap processed cheese for real cheese, frozen meals for home-cooked options, and sodas for water or herbal tea. Even reducing phosphate additives a few times a week gives your kidneys room to breathe and recover. But only knowing this still isn't enough, because the next kidney threat doesn't hide in chemicals. It hides inside a pill bottle millions of Americans open without a second thought. Now, moving into number 3, we reach a danger that doesn't come from food at all, yet harms the kidneys more aggressively than most meals ever could: NSAIDs. These are the everyday painkillers millions of Americans take without hesitation: ibuprofen, naproxen, and others sitting in nearly every kitchen cabinet. People use them for headaches, joint pain, back stiffness, or just to get through the day. But few realize that each dose narrows the blood vessels going into the kidneys, reducing the oxygen supply these hardworking organs depend on. I once cared for a man named Robert from Texas, 62 years old, who took ibuprofen almost daily for chronic knee pain. He stayed active, didn't drink much, avoided junk food, and believed he was doing everything right. Yet his kidney function kept declining. When we looked closer, the cause was clear: NSAIDs block prostaglandins, chemical messengers that keep kidney blood flow stable. Without prostaglandins, the kidneys receive less blood, less oxygen, and less energy to filter toxins. Research shows that long-term NSAID use can cause acute kidney injury, chronic kidney disease, and even permanent tissue loss, especially in older adults or anyone who is dehydrated. But the solution doesn't require living with pain. Safer options like acetaminophen in moderation, anti-inflammatory foods, omega-3s, turmeric physical therapy, and joint-friendly exercises can reduce discomfort without starving the kidneys of oxygen. Many patients see dramatic improvements simply by replacing daily NSAIDs with kidney-friendly alternatives. But only knowing this still isn't enough because the next threat is even more common, more hidden, and more destructive, and it's found in nearly every pantry in America. Now, dropping into number 2, we reach a modern food trap that quietly damages kidneys faster than most people ever realize. Seed oils. Corn oil, soybean oil, canola oil, safflower oil. These are the oils hiding in fried foods, salad dressings, restaurant meals, packaged snacks, and almost every shelf-stable product in the American grocery aisle. The problem isn't the seeds themselves, it's the brutal industrial process used to extract the oils. They're heated, pressurized, bleached, deodorized, and exposed to chemical solvents that oxidize the fats and turn them into compounds your kidneys were never designed to handle. I once treated a patient named Gloria from Arizona, 67 years old, who didn't drink, didn't smoke, and rarely ate sweets. But she loved convenience foods, crackers, chips, store-bought dressings, and heart-healthy oils for cooking. Her lab results showed persistent inflammation and declining kidney function. When we traced her diet, nearly every item contained oxidized seed oils. Science explains the danger clearly. These oils form aldehydes, highly reactive molecules that damage kidney cell membranes, scar the delicate filtration tubules, and disrupt mitochondrial function. Over time, this oxidative stress weakens the kidney's ability to filter waste and repair themselves. And because seed oils are so common, most Americans consume them daily without realizing the cumulative damage. The good news is that replacing seed oils is one of the fastest ways to support kidney recovery. Switching to olive oil, avocado oil butter, or coconut oil reduces oxidative stress dramatically. Many of my patients notice improved energy, reduced inflammation, and better kidney markers within weeks of cutting out industrial oils. But only knowing this still isn't enough because the number one kidney destroyer is something even more addictive, more common, and far more dangerous than most people dare to imagine. And now we've arrived at the number one most destructive kidney enemy of all: sugar and fructose. Not just the obvious sweets, cakes, sodas, candies, but the hidden sugars inside condiments, juices, energy drinks, flavored coffees, and even so-called healthy products like granola bars and agave syrup. Sugar is harmful, yes, but fructose is the real saboteur. Unlike glucose, which can be used by nearly every cell in your body, fructose can only be processed by the liver. And when the liver breaks it down, it burns through its energy supply so rapidly that it triggers a surge of uric acid, tiny needle-like crystals that scrape and inflame the kidney's delicate filtering structures. I remember a patient named Daniel from Florida, a 66-year-old retired engineer. He didn't consider himself a sweet tooth, but he drank 2 glasses of orange juice each morning and added a generous swirl of flavored syrup to his coffee. He couldn't understand why his uric acid levels kept climbing or why kidney stones kept forming despite his careful diet. When we removed the hidden fructose sources, his symptoms and lab markers improved dramatically. Science confirms his experience. Fructose raises uric acid faster and more aggressively than almost any other dietary trigger. High uric acid is directly linked to kidney scarring, stone formation, inflammation, and long-term loss of filtration capacity. The solution begins with awareness. Replace sugary drinks with water or herbal tea, choose whole fruits instead of juices, and avoid products loaded with corn syrup or sweetened syrups. Even small shifts reduce uric acid production and relieve kidney stress. But only knowing this still isn't enough because your kidneys don't just need fewer threats, they need daily support, consistency, and the right tools to heal. If you're still here with me, I want you to hear this from someone who has spent decades treating kidney disease. You are not powerless. Your kidneys are far more resilient than you've been led to believe. Even if you recognized yourself in some of the foods we talked about today, that doesn't mean you failed. It means you're waking up. And awareness is the moment everything begins to change. Every small shift you make, drinking a little more water, cutting back on hidden sugars, choosing whole foods instead of processed ones, gives your kidneys a chance to breathe again, a chance to repair microscopic damage, a chance to start working the way they were designed to. Healing rarely feels dramatic at first, but it does happen when you consistently remove what harms you and add what strengthens you. You don't need perfection, you just need momentum. And before you leave, let me speak directly to you, heart to heart. If this video opened your eyes, helped you understand your symptoms, or gave you even one piece of clarity, please save it. Keep it somewhere you can revisit whenever you need a reminder or a boost of motivation. Kidney health isn't a one-time decision. It's a journey, and the guidance that helps you today may be the same guidance that protects you months or years from now. If you want more science-backed kidney advice, practical daily habits, warning signs to watch for, and medical insights that could protect you or someone you love, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. I release new kidney health guidance every week, and I want you to have every tool possible to stay strong and stay ahead. Your kidneys can recover, your energy can return, your future can be brighter than you think, and I'm honored to walk this path with you one step at a time.